Toronto police outlined their plan to keep residents safe this long weekend with big crowds expected for Pride and Canada Day fireworks.
And it's Pride weekend in the city with several festivities planned, including the big parade that's happening this Sunday.
And school's out for summer. You know you love that. The bell rings on the school year.
This is Live at 5.
Good evening. I'm Bakari Savage.
And I'm Lena Latifat. Thanks for being with us. It is Pride weekend with several events planned, culminating with the parade on Sunday.
Right now, let's go live to CP24's Melissa Duggan, who's at church in Wellesley and the Village. Melissa.
You know, you can tell that work is out for a lot of people right now because Church Street is really starting to fill up right now. Of course, this whole stretch closed from Hayden to Dundas, all for Pride festivities, really getting underway right now for the Pride Street Fair. And then we've got the Trans March tonight, the Dyke March tomorrow, and that big parade on Sunday. Families coming out too. You're coming here from Whitby. Have you been to Pride before?
No, never in Toronto, but we've been in Vancouver.
And I'm wondering what your thoughts are so far as you've been walking around this street with the kids.
We are enjoying the parade here, yes.
And obviously the kids are holding signs. Is it important to share this message with the family?
Yeah, absolutely. Teaching them like equality, like diversity and all that kind of stuff. Exactly.
And how is the walk through the town going so far? Are you having fun? Yeah, all right, we've got a thumbs up. Thanks so much. Enjoy your time. Happy Pride to you. Lots of big smiles we're seeing out here tonight. And again, this is the street fair. So we're seeing a lot of vendors line up, a lot of restaurants and bars welcoming people, and a lot of people, you know, wearing their proud Pride colors and outfits this evening. The Trans March is the big one tonight. There's a rally that's going to start at Church and Hayden around 7 o'clock. We're going to have performers there. There are going to be some speakers, and then the march is going to begin at 8 o'clock. The biggest trans march in the world, by the way. So a weekend of events just kicking off here right now. The party's really in full swing, I would say. We've been really watching things build up. Going to toss things back to you.
Melissa Duggan live in the Village tonight. Thank you, Melissa. Well, police provided an update today on how they plan to keep residents safe this long weekend with the Pride Parade and Canada Day fireworks drawing massive crowds.
Now let's bring in CP24's Lindsay Biscaya for more on this. Lindsay.
Yeah, so in the past, Alina and Bakari, there have been some security issues, especially during Canada Day celebrations, especially at Woodbine Beach and Ashwood Bay Park. So that's kind of where police are going this year once again, stepping up their presence both on Monday and throughout the weekend at all these Pride festivities that we just saw Melissa at to try to counter that, make people feel safe, and make sure there are no security issues. And so that's really what they were talking about today. If you're at Ashbridges or Woodbine over the weekend, you can see an increased presence of police on foot, on bikes, and on ATVs. And as you mentioned as well, they will be at Pride, and they did give an update today on everything they're going to be doing at all these different events around the city to keep people safe. Have a listen.
This is about us having an enjoyable weekend. This is Pride Toronto's event. We are here to support in whatever capacity that we can. I am aware that obviously throughout Canada and the United States, we've had some disruptions that take place. However, we're not going to speculate and come up with hypothetical situations. We have plenty of resources on hand available in terms of officers. Like I said, there's going to be an increased presence that the community can expect to see. We have worked very closely with Pride Toronto leading up to today's events that are the kickoff today, obviously. And so I think that we're all feeling very confident and happy to say that we're hoping that it goes off as planned.
What we're doing this year and what we did last year is we have resources that are assigned to various locations, but then also deployable to be moved across the city to assist officers, for instance, at Christie Pitts. So I reiterate that it is a matter of us being able to get into that area that is safe. When you have several officers and hundreds of people, we need to make sure that the crowd dynamics are safe for our officers to enter to be able to address the issue of the lighting off the fireworks.
And also a reminder from police, you are not allowed to bring your own fireworks to any public beaches or parks, and you're also not allowed to bring alcohol to Ashbridges Bay Park as well as Woodbine Beach throughout this weekend. Police will be in full force, as I've already mentioned. And also, of course, with all this happening this weekend, with all the Pride events and the Canada Day celebrations on Monday, a lot of road closures around those areas. And so police also reminding people to take public transit if they're coming in and out of the city. It'll just be easier at this point. Lena, Bakari.
Thanks, Lindsay. Lindsay Vizcaya live in studio. And there will be several firework displays across the city on Canada Day.
Yeah, 10 p.m. on Canada Day. Firework displays are going to be held at Ashbridges Bay Park in East Toronto, Centennial Park in Etobicoke, Milliken Park in Scarborough, and San Wadlow Park in East York. Canada's Wonderland will also have fireworks at 10 p.m. for ticketed guests.
As visitors and residents are moving across the city, we strongly encourage you to take public transit, especially since there are no scheduled subway closures for this weekend. To support customers attending the fireworks display at Ashbridges Bay, the TTC is adding an additional train on Line 2 and extra buses on the 92 Woodbine and 22 Coxwell routes on Monday, July 1st. Several events around the city, including Pride festivities, will result in the adjustment of TTC bus and streetcar service.
Day long weekend means there's going to be some closures on the holiday Monday. Banks, government buildings, and most grocery stores will be closed along with all LCBO locations and some shopping malls. Attractions will be open on Monday, along with the beer store and wine rack, as well as some other shopping malls like the Eaton Center and Square One. And the TTC will operate on a holiday schedule. Well, police are going to be patrolling roads and waterways across Ontario this weekend, like all long weekends.
One of the things that last year we had 23 people were killed in boating accidents in the province. That was in 2023. 17 of them were not wearing life jackets. So that's a good number of those people probably would have survived had they been wearing their life jacket. It's a really easy thing to do when you get in your boat. And a lot of people think they look silly, they're not comfortable. The life jackets you can buy today are much more comfortable than they used to be. They look good. I have a boat myself. Everyone in my boat wears the life jackets all the time.
Last year was the deadliest in more than 15 years, with 411 people killed in collisions on OPP patrolled highways.
Right now it is 5:07, 20 degrees. Let's get a check on the roads. A lot of people trying to get out of town, maybe head to a cottage. Adjoa and Siayavois keeping a close eye on that drive.
I am, and it has been a busy afternoon as everybody does that mass exodus drive to get out of the city. But you're going to be halted a wee bit on the westbound lanes of the 401. It's on the express ramp that does take you to the 404 DVP. It looks like the left lane of that ramp is occupied, so right lane's getting by. Just a little bit of a busy spot as you approach that situation. Then on the 401 westbound, it's on the exit ramp to Highway 25. They've moved the camera, but the problems are still in the distance in the background. It's the two right lanes at the end of that on-ramp that are blocked. Still a tough drive on the northbound 400. If you live in Vaughan, it's a very slow through Vaughan and then beyond into Barrie, just drivers making the way either home or to their cottage. And the delays are still there if your travels take you on the Gardiner, making your way out of and heading into the downtown core, in particular from Islington to Strawn, but haven't spotted any issues. On city streets, crews on scene of a collision on Jane and Lawrence, also an ongoing collision on Carlaw at the Lakeshore. I'll send it back to you.
This CP24 traffic report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Enjoy the journey with a stress-free commute.
You know what, Lena, even though I have to be back at work Monday, it's still exciting to say school's out for the summer. The bell, the last one, it has rung on the school.
Let's go live to CP24's Sija Liu, who's outside Wilkinson Junior Public School. It's always an exciting time of year, Sija.
It is. We spent all afternoon with the kids and we had so much fun. It made us feel like kids ourselves. So, you know, what better place than to be on a playground for the last day of school? And they really had a great send-off here at Wilkinson Public School. They celebrated the grade 6 students, 52 graduating grade 6 students, with a clap out. So one by one, students walked down the stairs. They did their own persona. They had their own unique walks as they walked down, and the whole school clapped for them. It was all also TDSB's official last bell at 3:40 here. We asked the grade 6 students, what was your favorite part of the school year? Many of them said science class, the robotics team, sports, and just spending time with their friends. And we asked them, are you excited for grade 7 going to a new school? A lot of them a little bit nervous, but excited for this new chapter. And of course, we also had to ask them what plans they had for the summer. Take a listen.
I'm gonna go to New York and probably Canada's Wonderland.
What are your plans for the summer?
Play more hockey. Hockey's better.
I'm going to Columbia and Canada's Wonderland.
So those are going to be some well-traveled kids with lots of stories to tell when they come back to school in September. And we also talked to the parents who, of course, are excited to spend some time with their kids over the summer and overall just very proud of their kids for making it through another school year. But for now, it is the official start of summer. So back to you guys.
Well done, CJ. That was a really smooth landing. I have to say, I was nervous for a minute there, but we've got the entire newsroom laughing. CJ Liu live at
Very
park
nice.
for us.
Very nice, CJ. Very nice. Very nice.
It's 5:10, 20 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Yeah, and coming up, Premier Doug Ford has kicked MPP Goldie Gamari out of the PC caucus.
This is...
And we're following developing news. There's a large police presence. It's still there. It's been there all afternoon. This is near Western Road and Rogers Road. Police haven't shared a lot of information about the investigation, but said that chemicals were located and their chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear team worked with Toronto Fire to remove the substance safely. And police say that there's no risk to public safety at this time. And one person has been seriously injured in a shooting in downtown Hamilton. And police are called to the area of King and McNabb, which is near Jackson Square. This is in Hamilton's downtown core. A male was taken to hospital with serious injuries. And police say 2 suspects were involved, but they're still speaking to witnesses for descriptions.
Days after the National Council of Canadian Muslims called for her removal, Premier Doug Ford has kicked Goldie Gamari out of the PC caucus. Gamari posted a photo of herself with anti-Islam campaigner and convicted criminal Tommy Robinson, founder of the far-right English Defence League. The NCCM said it was shocked and furious at her conduct, saying it is unacceptable for an elected official.
And a statement from the Premier's office reads in part, quote, "This decision follows repeated instances of serious lapses in judgment and a failure to collaborate constructively with caucus leadership and as a team member. While this decision did not come easily, it has become clear that MPP Gamari can no longer continue in her role within our caucus." And Sabrina Nanji, founder of the Queen's Park Observer, joined us earlier to weigh in on Ford's decision.
Goldie met with him, he tweeted that he met with her to ask her out on a date. And Gamari maintained that she had no idea who she was. But I mean, just a quick Google search, and you can find out pretty easily that he's obviously a very problematic figure. And so it seems like this was the last straw for Doug Ford. Obviously, Goldie Gamari has landed in hot water before. She's had to apologize for some of her previous remarks. In the heat of the Israel-Hamas conflict, she had failed to distinguish between, extremist actions and the Muslim faith. And so she's had to apologize for that. And I think clearly, Doug Ford is drawing a line in the sand. And so now she'll be sitting as an independent.
Well, Gamari responded on social media saying, quote, "When one door closes, another one opens."
Well, 3 TDSB staff members who were placed on home assignment accused of anti-black racism have been cleared of wrongdoing.
The principal, vice principal, and a teacher at John Fisher Jr. Public School, they were accused of locking a 6-year-old black student in a closet-sized room while staff helped another student in need of medical treatment. Well, at the time, the boy's mother told CTV News that she and her son were subject to dozens of instances of discrimination at the school. After an extensive third-party review, the board says the nearly 50 allegations against the educators were not substantiated in terms of violating the board's policies or the Ontario Human Rights Code.
By 20 degrees, this is Live at 5. Coming up, Toronto's oldest operating movie theater could close its doors amid a dispute with its landlord.
Toronto's oldest operating movie theater is facing the possibility of closing its doors. This is amid a dispute with its landlord. The Review Cinema in Roncesvalles, and it has been told that its lease is not going to be renewed at the end of the month. The disagreement surrounds the nonprofit group that has run the theater for more than a decade. The landlord wants to oust the board and take the cinema private.
The dispute arose literally in the last 48 hours. On Wednesday night, we received word from an agent of our landlord of the last 17 years. He showed up during a sold-out screening of The Matrix, and he said, folks, you're all out of here. As of July 1st, it's last day of our rent is June 30th. He expressed he doesn't want to renew our lease, and he wants us out of the building, and he's planning to take it private. We've been run by a non-profit for the last 17 years.
We want to get rid of the board, bring it back to private sector. It's very simple. Why we need the board? They've never done nothing. Every time we sign a new lease, they never fulfill the lease. I mean, these are supposed to do work, do the seats. They do nothing.
And the theater says that in the event of a disruption, it will reimburse ticket holders, event rentals, and members.
Well, the architecture firm that designed the Ontario Science Centre is accusing the province of drawing flawed conclusions from the engineering report it used to justify closing the facility. The government shuttered the attraction a week ago, citing the danger posed by failing roof panels. However, the Moriyama Tashima firm says the report shows that only 6 panels are in need of critical repair, and only 57% of the total roof area is in question. The company also says the panels could be replaced in phases over the next 10 years with targeted repairs.
I guess what jumped out at us the most saliently, if I could leave one point behind, which is that the exhibition spaces, the vast majority of them are completely safe. There's not even the type of panel that's been pointed at, so-called RAAC panels, which are essentially concrete panels. None of those exist over most of the exhibition space. I think I counted about 11 panels that were above there that were in need of repair. 11 out of thousands in this building. It's a drop in the bucket. It's probably less than 1% of that roof.
It's not a bad word to say that the roof will eventually need to be replaced at the next roof renewal cycle. That is not right now. That does not justify a precipitous closure with literally 2 hours notice at the Ontario Science Centre on a Friday afternoon.
Well, the firm says that 400 other public buildings in Ontario use the same roof panels, but the Science Centre is the only one that's been closed.
Well, Stats Canada says the economy grew slightly in April.
The agency says that real gross domestic product rose 3% that month. It was helped by gains in several industries, including wholesale trade, mining, oil and gas extraction, and manufacturing. Statistics Canada says early indications also suggest GDP rose 0.1% in May.
Well, after some questioned his performance at last night's debate, President Joe Biden got an enthusiastic welcome at a rally in North Carolina. Biden appeared much more energetic today. He also acknowledged to his supporters that he's not a young man anymore, but said his history and his morals prove he is not only fit for the job, but that he believes he'll be keeping it.
We're going to stand up for the women of America. We're going to restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land. We're going to stand up for the right to vote. We're going to stand up for Medicare and Social Security. We're going to fight for child care, paid leave, and elder care. We're going to keep lowering the cost of prescription drugs, not just for seniors, but for every single American.
And Donald Trump held a rally of his own today in Chesapeake, Virginia. He told supporters that he had a big victory last night, adding that Biden's problem is not his age, but his competence.
As you saw on television last night, we had a big victory against a man that really is looking to destroy our country. He's the worst, he's the most corrupt, the most incompetent president in the history of our country. And we have to take it back from that party. That's an evil party, despite the fact that crooked Joe Biden spent the entire week at Camp David resting, working, studying. He studied very hard. He studied so hard that he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Right now it's 5:22, 20 degrees. This is Live at 5. And coming up, the NHL draft going to be held at Sphere in Vegas tonight. Well, Leylah Fernandez has advanced to the final of the Eastbourne International Grass Court Tournament.
Leylah Fernandez made her first grass court quarterfinal last week. Now it's the first grass court final, and it comes on her debut. Strike didn't try to force it.
And with that, she defeated defending champion Madison Keys in 3 sets. This is in today's semifinal at the Wimbledon tune-up event. Fernandez is going to take on Daria Kasatkina in tomorrow's final. The championship match, that's going to be Fernandez's 6th career final, but her first on grass. And she's set to open her Wimbledon tournament Monday against Lucia Bronzetti. Well, the NHL draft is going to be held at Sphere in Las Vegas tonight. The San Jose Sharks, they have the first overall pick. They're expected to take Boston University center Macklin Celebrini. And the Chicago Blackhawks, who had the top selection last year, they're going to pick second. The Toronto Maple Leafs, they'll pick 23rd overall. The NHL free agent signing period starts July 1st. And the Jays continued their series with the Yankees tonight after a strong start yesterday.
Springer hits it a long way to left field. It is gone!
Look at that. The Jays took the lead in the first inning, and then they never looked back. George Springer hit a pair of 3-run homers, and Jose Barrios threw 7 strong innings in the 9-2 victory. The teams continue their series tonight at the Rogers Center. In Toronto will send Yusei Kikuchi to the mound, while the Yankees are going to counter with former Blue Jay Marcus Stroman. The first pitch is set for 7 o'clock.
And the newest Raptors are in the city just days after the NBA draft. Jonathan Mogbo was the Raptors' 31st pick in this year's NBA draft. Turns out he's also a close childhood friend of Scottie Barnes, as you can see in this draft video. Barnes was with him when his name was announced.
Just bringing the family, friends, I told Scott about it before the draft happened, and I was like, because I didn't know his schedule, so I said, if you can come out. He said, I'll be there, no doubt. So, it was just good to have him. And, when my name got called, looked around, and I think I saw him crying. So, yeah, it was tears of joy. I didn't shed a tear, I couldn't. I had to be the stronger one, but it was good. It was just a good scene, good seeing, embracing the moment. Just excited to get to work, be in the same arena as him, just going and competing. It's time to compete against him. So it'll be fun.
So Mogbo was just 5'9" in high school, but now at 22, he's over 6'6", averaging 14 points, 10 rebounds, and nearly 4 assists per game for the San Francisco Dons this past season.
5:28, 20 degrees. This is Live at 5.
Well, we are live in Toronto's Village community. Tonight is the final weekend of Pride Month, and part of Church Street is closed for the Pride Street Fair. More of the festivities next. The Toronto police outlined their plan to keep residents safe this long weekend with big crowds expected for Pride and Canada Day fireworks.
And it is Pride weekend in the city. Several festivities planned, including the big parade that's happening Sunday.
And school's out for summer. The bell rings on the school year.
This is Live at 5. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Lena Latifat.
I'm Bakari Savage. School is out for summer. The last bell has rung. Let's go live to CP24. Cedra Liu, who was sliding down a slide board. Yeah, that's a slide, right?
I know it's been a while, Bakari, but
slide
it was
a slide. A slide, okay? A slide. Outside of Wilkinson Junior Public School.
It's been a while for Bakari.
A little bit. I'm a little old here.
It's been a while, Bakari. We got to get you down here and hang out with the kids for a little bit. Bring that childhood back into your spirit a bit. But it was last day of school here, official start of summer, and obviously some kids aren't ready to go home just yet. But earlier today, it was a huge party here at Wilkinson Junior Public School. They had the official send-off this summer. They also had a clap out for the graduating grade 6 students. 52 students are graduating from this school. One by one, they walked down the stairs as students, hundreds of students across the school, clapped for them. Each one of the students did their own special dance or own special walkout. I asked them, what did you enjoy about this year? Many of them said their science classes, their robotics teams, sports, and overall just hanging out with friends. I also asked them, are you nervous about going into grade 7, going into a new school? Some of them nervous, but overall excited for this next chapter. As for summer plans, we heard everything from travel plans to hanging out by the pool, playing sports. But today is not just about the students, it's also about the parents who will be able to spend a lot of time with their kids. Take a listen to what the parents had to say.
We're pretty excited for her, and I'm a teacher too, so I'm pretty excited.
It's a mixed bag. She spent the first 8 years of her educational career at this school. Fantastic teachers, fantastic environment. So while we're happy to see her, transitioning to the next stage of her life, there's a little part of us that is going to be left behind at this school. So it's a little bittersweet.
It's been a great year, yeah. So it's an exciting feeling. That school is ending and summer is beginning, and to have the kids home and spend time with them, we're looking forward to that.
Some sweet messages from the parents there, and that's it. School is officially out. They won't be back here until September. The teachers will be here for another week or so, wrapping things up. But for now, it's all about fun, enjoying the summer. So, Bakari, if you have some extra time this summer, maybe come out to a playground, a water park, learn how to be a kid again.
Yeah, maybe hop on some slide boards. Yeah.
Relive some old memories. All right. Sija Liu reporting on the last day of school. What an exciting time for so many. I'm sure the parents are a little excited too. The teachers as well, right?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Thanks, Sija.
Well, police provided an update today on how they plan to keep residents safe this long weekend with the Pride Parade as well as Canada Day fireworks drawing massive crowds.
Let's bring in CP24's Lindsay Biscaya for more on that.
Yeah, and so police have been saying that they're going to be out in full force, Lena and Bakari, both at all the Pride events that are happening throughout the weekend to show their support and also try to convey that people can feel safe with police around at these events. And also on Monday, a lot of different events happening around the city and around the GTA in terms of fireworks and other Canada Day festivities. And police say they will be there in full force. You can expect an increased presence on foot, on bike. You can see police on ATVs driving around the beach as they have been for the last couple of years. And this is in particularly at Ashbridges Bay and Woodbine Beach, because we know there's been some security issues at those locations in the past on Canada Day, and police are trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. So we did hear from them today about what they're going to be doing this weekend. Here's more.
For those that are coming into the city, we ask that you be mindful of your personal belongings and your surroundings. Last year during Pride, we noticed an increase in pickpocketing and reports of people's cell phones being lost or misplaced. So just be aware of where your belongings are at. We also know that there is going to be consumption of intoxicating substances, be that alcohol or otherwise, and we ask that you do so responsibly. Please look out for one another in making sure that you're drinking and engaging in other activities with the utmost responsibility.
You can expect serious traffic delays. There are multiple events happening in that area. Our partners at TTC have added extra buses to assist in getting people in and out of the Ashbridges Bay area, and I recommend that you take transit to the events.
Police also reminding people you are not allowed to bring your own fireworks or your own alcohol to most public beaches and parks. And if you need to check in terms of permits or what you can and can't do this weekend, you can always go to the city's website to do that. Lena, Bakari?
Yeah, that's a long list of stuff. CP24's Lindsay Biscaya, thanks a lot. Well, it's Pride weekend, several events planned, culminating with the big parade on Sunday. So let's go live to CP24's Melissa Duggan, who's at church in Wellesley in the village where the party's already getting started. Melissa.
Yeah, so this is the Pride Street Fair happening all along Church Street right now. You look north, people as far as the eye can see. I'm guessing thousands already turning out here. Not just the crowds, but the entertainment performers taken to the streets as well. It is getting colorful. I want you to look south as well. Crowds, oh, actually, we're not going to look south this way. Just going to tell our camera guy we're going to stay this way right now. Yep, we're just going to keep moving this way. A lot of bodies on display as well. Listen, I happened to talk to the co-chair of Pride Toronto, who kind of teed up what we can expect this weekend. Have a listen.
planning starts the day after Pride. There's so much that goes into planning, the logistics, getting all the artists together, the contracts together, making sure that their hotels and the travel are all set up. It takes a whole year, and people are surprised about that because Pride Festival weekend's 3 days, but there's so many more events that happen. Yes, this weekend, but throughout Pride Month. So we're very excited to see the culmination of it this weekend.
I'm looking forward to the vibes, honestly. Canadians are famously very friendly, and that's come true. Like, before I even got fully out of the airport, people are being friendly to you, asking how you are. I'm looking forward to the energy. And obviously, Pride is about love, and it's like love on top of love here in Canada. Obviously, we've come so far. It feels so good to be free and open.
Don't overdo it, and get hydrated, and enjoy yourself.
You know, a lot of people have come to Pride before, but there are some that are here for the very first time. Pride Toronto has a special designation, a special resource for people who are enjoying their very first Pride. If you visit their website, Toronto Pride's website, they have a whole area about My First Pride. It's now in its 3rd year, and it really gives a welcoming place for people, especially immigrants, refugees, who might be experiencing their very first Pride in Toronto and celebrating who they are. So just a resource to check out there, and certainly lots of fun ahead. Happy Pride and some very happy faces out here. Back to you.
All right, a lot of fun. CP24's Melissa Duggan live from the heart of the village. Don't have too much fun out there.
Thanks, Melissa. 5:38, 20 degrees. Let's get a check on the drive. Angela keeping a close eye on that. It is going to be busy all weekend long.
Oh, it is going to be busy all weekend long. And if you're on the eastbound Gardner, at least some good news on the eastbound Gardner, just on the approach to Park Lawn. We were dealing with a collision at one point, had the 2 left lanes blocked. It just cleared away moments ago. So as you're heading into the downtown core, this is why it's pretty backed up off the 427. You can use the Queensway or the Lakeshore if you're just looking to avoid that delay. We have a little bit of a problem. This is on the westbound 401 Indy Express. It's on the ramp that does take you to the northbound 404 or southbound DVP. It's the left lane that is occupied. Rest of the 401 still busy across the top of the city, including the eastbound side as you head into Durham. Drivers heading towards their cottage. And speaking of the cottage, it is jammed solid on the northbound 400, starting from Highway 7. Doesn't ease up until Highway 9 and then get slower further north as you make your way in towards Barrie. I'll send it back to you.
All right, CP24's Adjoa Interior Bar with that traffic update. Thanks, Adj. And with that, it's 5:39, 20 degrees. This is Live at 5. And we're learning new details about the charges against Canadian billionaire businessman Frank Stronach. The new charges against Canadian billionaire Frank Stronach involve 7 more complainants. This is according to court documents. The documents were filed today showing the 91-year-old businessman is accused of sexually assaulting 7 women from 1977 to as recently as February. That brings the total number of accusers in his case to 10. Stronach's accused of attempted rape and indecent assault on a woman between June of 1977 and January of 1978, and 6 other sexual assaults that allegedly occurred in the 1980s, 1990s, early 2000s, and this year, according to the document. So he's scheduled to appear at the Brampton Courthouse July 8th. And we're also following developing news. There's a large police presence. It's been that way since this afternoon. We're talking about near Weston Road and Rogers Road. Police haven't shared a whole lot of information with us about the investigation, but they have said that chemicals were located. So their chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear team worked with the Toronto Fire to remove the substance safely. Police say that there's no risk to public safety at this time. One person has been seriously injured in a shooting in downtown Hamilton. So police were called to the area of King and McNabb, which is near Jackson Square in Hamilton's downtown core. A male was taken to hospital with serious injuries. The police say that 2 suspects were involved, but they're still speaking to witnesses for descriptions.
Well, days after the National Council of Canadian Muslims called for her removal, Premier Doug Ford has kicked Goldie Gamari out of the PC caucus. Gamari posted a photo of herself with anti-Islam campaigner and convicted criminal Tommy Robinson. Founder of the far-right English Defence League, the NCCM, said it was shocked and furious at her conduct, saying it's unacceptable for an elected official.
And a statement from the Premier's office reads in part, quote, "This decision follows repeated instances of serious lapses in judgment and a failure to collaborate constructively with caucus leadership and as a team member. While this decision did not come easily, it has become clear that MPP Gamari can no longer continue in her role within our caucus." Well, Sabrina Nanji founder of the Queen's Park Observer, joined us earlier to weigh in on Ford's decision.
I think in this case, a lot of people were scratching their heads because, you know, if you're going to say you don't know about this person, you have no idea of his views, it wouldn't be hard to find out if you just did a quick Google search. And so I think Doug Ford is making sure that there's not, problematic characters as he goes, as he mulls the idea of an early election and makes sure that there's no, controversies that could potentially lose him a seat, because Carleton has been a conservative stronghold, at least provincially. And the big question is now, who's going to potentially replace Gamari? Is there going to be a by-election? Are we just going to wait for the general election?
Gamari responded on social media saying that when one door closes, another one opens.
Well, 3 TDSB staff members who were placed on home assignment accused of anti-black racism have been cleared of wrongdoing.
Yeah, those employees included the principal, the vice principal, and a teacher at John Fisher Jr. Public School, accused of locking a 6-year-old black student in a closet-sized room while staff helped another student in need of medical treatment. At the time, the boy's mother told CTV News that she and her son were subject to dozens of instances of discrimination at the school. After an extensive third-party review, the board says the nearly 50 allegations against educators were not substantiated in terms of violating the board's policies or the Ontario Human Rights Code.
It's 5:45, 20 degrees. This is Live at 5. Coming up, the architecture firm that designed the Ontario Science Centre says the province's reasons for closing it are flawed.
The architecture firm that designed the Ontario Science Centre is accusing the province of drawing flawed conclusions from the engineering report that it used to justify closing the facility. So the government shuttered the attraction a week ago, citing the danger posed by failing roof panels. However, the Moriyama Tashima firm says that the report shows that only 6 panels are in need of critical repair, and only 57% of the total roof area is in question. The company also says that the panels could be replaced in phases over the next 10 years with targeted repairs.
I guess what jumped out at us the most saliently, if I could leave one point behind, which is that the exhibition spaces, the vast majority of them are completely safe. There's not even the type of panel that's been pointed at, so-called RAAC panels, which are essentially concrete panels. None of those exist over most of the exhibition space. I think I counted about 11 panels that were above there that were in need of repair. 11 out of thousands in this building. It's a drop in the bucket. It's probably less than 1% of that roof.
It's not a bad word to say that the roof will eventually need to be replaced at the next roof renewal cycle. That is not right now. That does not justify a precipitous closure with literally 2 hours notice at the Ontario Science Centre on a Friday afternoon.
Well, the firm says that 400 other public buildings in Ontario use the same roof panels, but the Science Centre is the only one that's been closed.
Well, Toronto's oldest operating movie theater is facing the possibility of closing its doors amid a dispute with its landlord.
The Review Cinema in Roncesvalles has been told its lease will not be renewed at the end of the month. The disagreement, it surrounds the nonprofit group that has run the theater for more than a decade. The landlord wants to oust the board and take the cinema private.
He wants to privatize it, essentially. So he wants to evict the tenant, which is the Review Film Society. We're the nonprofit, and he wants to poach our staff. So it's essentially a hostile takeover attempt where he wants us to transition all of our staff, all the resources and the goodwill we've built up over 17 years. We have no confidence he's able to do this as a 96-year-old with no experience.
They change. Every time we sign the lease, they say we're going to do all this work. They're going to do all this work. They never do nothing. And then when I say to them, what happened? Well, that was the other directors. And now we're new directors.
And the theater says that in the event of a disruption, it will reimburse ticket holders, event rentals, and members.
Well, now to the U.S. After many questioned his performance at last night's debate, President Joe Biden got an enthusiastic welcome at a rally in North Carolina today.
Well, Biden appeared much more energetic today. He did acknowledge to his supporters that he's not a young man, but said that his history and his morals prove that he's not only fit for the job, but that he believes he'll be keeping it.
We're going to protect our children and get the weapons of war off our streets. We're going to provide clean drinking water, affordable high-speed internet, quality education for every child in America. We're going to secure our border and protect legal immigration. And unlike the other guy, we're going to stand up to dictators like Putin, because America bows to no one, no one ever.
The men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you.
And Donald Trump held a rally of his own today in Chesapeake, Virginia. He told supporters that he had a big victory last night, adding that Biden's problem is not his age, but his competence.
As you saw on television last night, we had a big victory against a man that really is looking to destroy our country. He's the worst, he's the most corrupt, the most incompetent president in the history of our country. And we have to take it back from that party. That's an evil party, despite the fact that crooked Joe Biden spent the entire week at Camp David resting, working, studying. He studied very hard. He studied so hard that he didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Well, it's 5:53, 20 degrees. This is Live at 5. And if you want to check out a movie, we're going to take a look at the new releases next.
Open your eyes and look clear.
Well, some new movies are hitting screens this weekend, including Kinds of Kindness.
This is it. Do you think you can do it?
Open your
This
eyes.
dark comedy reunites Poor Things director Yorgos Lanthimos and star Emma Stone. It's a movie told in 3 interconnected stories about a man and his eccentric and controlling employer, a policeman whose missing wife reappears but is not the same person that he remembers, and a woman devoted to a spiritual leader. Film critic Richard Krause says that it's a little tough to wrap your head around this.
And it hit me.
In these 3 separate stories, each of the characters are all played by the same actors. They all have different names from story to story, and you have to keep that straight and sort of just adjust your mind that the Jesse Plemons character that you saw 10 minutes ago is different in this new story than he was in the last. But it is a film that is full of twists and turns. It's definitely for adventurous viewers, and your level of enjoyment with it will be directly related to your ability to sort of hang on to the mast as this movie sails into some pretty choppy waters. I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars, but it might be the very definition of a movie that's not for everyone.
44th, between 9th and 10th.
Well, Daddy-O seems more like a stage production than a movie. Dakota Johnson plays a woman taking a late-night cab into Manhattan who strikes up a soul-searching conversation with the driver, played by Sean Penn. They're the only 2 characters in the movie. Richard Krause says that their performances make it worth watching.
If you were coming of age in the 1980s, the Brat Pack was near the center of your cultural awareness. But for those of us experiencing it from the inside...
And Brats is a new documentary about the Brat Pack, actors who are synonymous with 1980s coming-of-age movies. Narrated by member Andrew McCarthy, the film features interviews with the actors about making those movies and what the Brat Pack label did to their careers. Richard Krause says, while there's a lot of fun nostalgia, the movie's a bit repetitive. He gives it 2.5 stars.
Just in time for the end of the school year, Toronto's outdoor pools are now all open and operating on a full schedule. Sure. Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, look at that. Mayor Chow was among the first to jump in to Alexandria Park Pool today. Just for a few laps. 10 outdoor pools opened early on June 15th this year, but only on evenings and weekends.
If it gets hot, every pool in the city is now open. Wading pools, splash pads, everything is open. Come out and play. And we have lifeguards here. We have floaties. Bring your kids or just come and enjoy a fabulous long weekend.
It's that time of year. It's 5:59, 20 degrees. This is Toronto's breaking news, CP24.
Well, it's Pride weekend. The Trans March is tonight. The Pride Parade is this Sunday. Thank you for watching. CTV News at 6 is next.